Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Rundown, where we talk about 2A news and conservative views. I am your host today, Craig DeLuz, coming at you from the West Coast, the left coast, behind the Iron Curtain, otherwise known as the Sierras, in the state, also known as California. But as we all know, I do not do this program by myself.
That's right. My name is Mike Piwowarski. I'm coming to you live from the East Coast. That's the coast with the most, from the co-host with the most here on The Rundown. 2A Views, conservative news, and Craig, what a great day today is. What a great the gift of Stacey Abrams keeps giving, but what a great day.
My. It is the funniest thing because I have this conversation, with someone yesterday who is probably an old school mainstream Democrat, right? And it's funny because we're talking about the wokedivists on the left, and the problem is that what she fails to understand is this individual I was talking to is that they think the person standing on their left thinks just like them, and I'm like,
Yeah.
please stop and listen to this person that is talking. Listen to this progressive leftist that is standing next to you, because if you do not, if you do, then you will understand that you are much closer to what I believe than what they believe.
What's the TV show? I forget if it's Comedy Central or True TV or whatever. It's got the four buddies from New York, and they all stand off camera and they tell one of them what things to do, funny things to do, and they have to do it.
Oh,
I pictured,
man. I know exactly what show you're talking about, and all of a sudden now, and I even can see the four guys,
Yeah.
impractical,
I'm pretty sure-
impractical jokers.
Right, there it is. I'm pretty sure they're on the other end of Stacey Abrams' earpiece. I think that's how it works out. I think that's tell them that abortion will save you. We'll get to that story. But let me jump in and tell you all about our sponsors first before Craig tells you how to watch us. Check out our good friends at Hitman Industries, hitmanindustries.net, hitmanindustries.net. If you've got yourself an AR in the past 5 years, then odds are you might already have one of their barrels, but now you can buy from them direct and get your barrel for your next build or rebarrel your current rifle. Hitmanindustries.net. Actually stopped by and saw the guys yesterday, and they said, keep up the good work. Folks, thanks for hitting them up. Thanks for driving traffic their way, and keep it coming. California Republican Assembly. Make sure you check out the California Republican Assembly doing the daily fight every day to fight the liberal herd out there in California. Please check out California Republican Assembly. And of course, if you want some good web gear, some tactical gear, visit our friends at US Combat Gear, DOT.
DOT. That's the Biden version. DOT.com.
USCombatGear.com, folks. Little shot at Joe there for you. Yeah.
All right, Mike, you got me with that one. Good stuff, folks. These are the folks who bring us to you. They do it so that we'll bring you to them. So do us a favor. Look in the description to this program, however you're watching it, there's a link there to their website. Go there, check them out. If you like what you see, go ahead and click, become a member, buy some stuff from them, whatever. But whatever you do, make sure that you let them know that it was the guys over at The Rundown that sent you. Also, make sure that when you're talking with your friends, you're telling them about The Rundown. Folks, we're fighting the algorithms. You know, Google and Facebook and YouTube, they don't want you to watch us. They don't want your friends to watch us. They don't want us getting together and talking about the things that are actually important to America. So we have to help each other out. We got to tell people. Tell a friend. See something? Say something. Let them know that they can watch The Rundown wherever they watch their videos, whether it's on Spotify, whether it's on OpsLens, YouTube, Rumble, Facebook. They can watch us there. If you want to just listen to the program, maybe you're driving to the store or something, or driving to work or something like that. Wherever you get your podcast, you will find The Rundown. 2A news and conservative views. That's how you'll find us.
Yeah, that's where you do it. Go do it there.
All right. Today's story. This first one. This is dem on dem violence, I think. So, Governor Abbott is catching a lot of grief. Governor Abbott and Governor DeSantis. I don't know why Governor Ducey's not catching as much grief, but those two governors in particular are catching a lot of grief from the mainstream media and from the left for transporting immigrants, people who've entered the country, not just any immigrants, but people who have illegally entered our country through the southern border. Right? They're actually shipping them off to major metropolitan cities or other cities. Right? They're shipping them off in particular to places that are sanctuary cities. Right? We're talking New York, we're talking DC, we're talking Chicago. And they're shipping them off to these cities because, well, these are places that have said, hey, you know what? We are a sanctuary city. Come to our city and you will be safe here. We will take care of you. We will provide for you if you are in this country undocumented. Well, little bit known, what a lot of people don't realize is the person who has shipped the most immigrants to various different states is actually a Democrat, and it is the mayor of El Paso. In fact, he has shipped somewhere like 10 times as many people north as has Governor Abbott. And oh, by the way, Mike, you may not know this, he's actually getting federal resources. He's actually getting federal money to do this, right? A lot of people didn't know that. He's actually getting federal money in order to do this. In any case, there was information out there that he had been pressured, right? That he was being pressured by the White House to not declare a state of emergency. But then when he was interviewed on Fox News, dude just flat out lied. He lied and said, no, we haven't been pressured by the White House. That is just not so. The White House has done nothing or said nothing. This right here is the interview where he was talking. But Mike, here's the problem with what he said is that he actually is caught. He actually is online. There's video of him saying the exact opposite. Check it out.
I had a conversation this morning or yesterday with the chief of the U.S. Border Patrol, Chief Ortiz, and he does not support declaring a state of emergency at this point. Our congresswoman has urged for us not to do that, and our county judge does not support that at this point. We may have to do that. I mean, there's going to be a point where we may have to do that, but at this point, and the White House has asked at this point for us not to do that.
Oh, Claudia Rodriguez is on the El Paso City Council. Claudia, he lied.
Okay. So there you have him saying, not only was his congressman pressuring him not to declare this emergency, but the Border Patrol, the regional person over Border Patrol, even the White House called him and asked him not to declare an emergency there in El Paso. And basically, you and I know why, because, well, it's election season and it's going to look bad.
Yeah, absolutely right, Craig. Listen, it's occurred. We know it's occurred. We've seen story after story, with him declaring it, a state of emergency down there in his own town. The border town is overflowing with these immigrants, and he continues to send them north. Again, we've over and over we've heard him say this thing. We saw it on TV. We've seen it in quotes in the newspaper. Now all of a sudden, somebody at the White House and somebody up north says, "Hey, he's a Democrat. He probably shouldn't be talking like this." Okay, give him a call. And they gave him a call, and this guy was like, sure, okay, yeah, I've got no integrity. I'll do whatever you want me to do. It's probably one of those, if you don't declare an emergency, we'll give you the money, as opposed to the way it's supposed to work, where an emergency must be declared before you get the money. This is just more political shenanigans from the left. And Craig, once again, they think we'll fall for this. They think that, I don't know, we're 5-year-old children or your 6-year-old puppies. I have no idea. They again think that we're all going to go, oh, look, I forgot what he said last week, so I'm just going to go with this.
Yeah, let's be honest. Most of the things that are being done right now are being done as a result of trying to make Democrats not look so bad in the upcoming midterm elections, because every poll, the good ones, the bad ones, as if there are good polls, but every single poll shows the Democrats losing big in the upcoming election. And that's because they're not talking about the issues that are important to most people. They just flat out aren't. And the problem, the reason why they're not is because on the issues that are important to most people, they're dead wrong.
Yes. Yeah, yeah, absolutely wrong. Yeah, and they get them so wrong. And again, I'll point you back to, oh man, Donald Trump's getting a little resurgence here. What should we do? I know, raid his house. That'll make him look bad. Everything they do, makes them weaker and makes them look dumber. They don't understand the actual issues.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Well, the January 6th committee. They're like, no one was watching it when it was on during the day. So what did they do? Well, we got to put it on during prime time.
Yeah.
I mean, there were more
and by the
people
way,
watching reruns of Green Acres than were watching it the prime time fiasco that was the January 6th committee.
Well, Craig, that's because Green Acres is the place to be.
You do have a point. I totally set you up for that one, didn't I?
That's it. Yeah, yeah. By the way, January 6th hearing, a couple of rulings going against them yesterday. So, and somebody else, I forget who was it? One of the parties found not guilty, charged in the January 6th issue. So that continues to circle the drain. So,
well, it does, and most people don't care about it. I hate to say it, but
it's like Happy Days after Fonzie jumped the shark, right? It's still there. We know it's still there, but we're all just waiting for it to stop.
We're just waiting for it to stop. Exactly.
Yeah, it's no longer real. It's not real anymore.
Exactly. Well, let me tell you what is real, Mike, and that is Arizona fighting back. That's right. You might recall we talked about it yesterday, where Arizona decided that they were going to help secure their border in places where the border wall was not completed, or where where the border wall was wide open. And they use these big containers in order to blunt, or in order to keep people from entering the country illegally. And the White House, the Immigration Service, basically told them, no, you have to remove those barriers. In other words, we're not going to it's our job, the federal government, to protect the borders, and you have to remove your barriers that are protecting the borders so that we cannot do our job protecting the borders. Well, Mike, Arizona is fighting back. They've actually decided, they came back with some really serious, some harsh words for the folks over there. Here's the one specific quote that I loved. It says, the myriad of federal agencies that claim jurisdiction on the southern border but do nothing to prevent the public nuisance caused by illegal immigration and criminal activity that exploits the open border is quite frustrating to those that live, work, and recreate on the border of our state. And that was from Alan Clark, the director of Arizona Department of Energy and Military Affairs. Wow, that's kind of interesting that energy and military affairs are actually in the same department.
That's weird. Sometimes, some states combine those. I've seen, law enforcement and military affairs under the same one. I've seen military affairs under themselves, but each state does their own thing. But I love this response.
But that just, but seriously, that just to me, that just seems like alcohol, firearms, and pillows.
Yeah.
Agency.
Yeah. Or how about alcohol, firearms, and tobacco? Because they all have everything to do with it.
Because they all do the same exact thing, right?
Yeah. That's it happens. It's state government, So maybe the guys, maybe he's the head of both, and they just combined it in the article. So who knows? But it's great to see them step up for this. You knew they were going to. You knew they were going to do this. By the way, Governor Ducey, tell me that's not a great boxing name. Like here's Governor 1-2 Ducey. He's
Governor Ducey.
Ducey, yeah, and he's going down in 2. He's Ducey. So this is great. This is exactly what we're going to happen. And I love your analogy from yesterday when we talked about this, Craig. What is it that they're saying that we're trespassing on the land that we're stopping people from trespassing on? That's when we're putting these up, or the trespassing analogy was pretty good. But yeah, this is great. You guys listen. I love the concertina wire there. These are, by the way, all welded together, and this is how you do it, folks. This is you use your resources available to supplement what the federal government cannot do, and now is refusing to do, and in fact is making you undo. You did tell me it's not about the votes and about tyranny. You're Craig. Maybe that's the issue. Maybe they're worried about the feds are worried about losing the vote in Arizona this election, so they want more. They want more Democrats. I mean, illegal immigrants. I mean, Democrats to come in so they can vote.
Yeah, the problem is though is that what they're finding is the Latino community is split 50-50. So for every Democrat they let in, they're also letting in a Republican.
Yes. And which, because it used to be, remember, it used to be a much different split, but again, the White House can't seem to keep up. So, so it's a win-win right now.
Well, I think they're also hoping that, because, by the way, a significant number of those coming across our southern border are not Latino. They're actually from other people are coming from all over the world to Mexico to come across our southern border. So they're hoping that some of those others are going to be voting Democrat.
Yep.
All right, moving right along. Well, talking about. I have to give Stacey Abrams a wee bit of credit for at least attempting to talk about an issue that is important to people, because she did both doing an interview as well as in the debate. Talked about abortion as an economic issue. In fact, insinuating that abortions can help reduce inflation.
Abortion is an issue. It nowhere reaches the level of interest of voters in terms of the cost of gas, food, bread, milk, things like that. What could you do as governor to alleviate the concerns of Georgia voters about those livability, daily, hourly issues that they're confronted with?
But let's be clear. Having children is why you're worried about your price for gas. It's why you're concerned about how much food costs. For women, this is not a reductive issue. You can't divorce being forced to carry an unwanted pregnancy from the economic realities of having a child. And so it's important for us to have both and conversations. We don't have the luxury of reducing it or separating them out, but we also have to talk about what a governor can do. A governor can address.
All right, so Mike, she's sitting here trying to say, now he's like, what are you going to do to reduce inflation, to deal with the economic realities that people are dealing with every single day? And she said, we're going to kill more babies.
Yeah, folks, it came right at the beginning of this. She's off camera before the video starts talking abortion. And he says to her, listen, okay, forget about abortion. Let's talk about what people really want to talk about, money and inflation, right? And she says, just like Craig said, well, if you kill your babies, you won't need money for them. So what? She's just, yeah. Women are really concerned about this. Listen, financial planning, look at the economy right now. No, I'm going to abort this child because it's going to cost a lot to raise it. That's what she's saying. Oh, it's going to cost 20, 25, 30% more to raise this child right now than it would have last year. So I'm going to abort this child. She makes it sound like, well, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put it just going to put it over there on hold for a couple of years. And then when the economy's back, I'll bring it back over. I don't, maybe she doesn't know what abortion is. I don't know. She's clearly.
The problem is that she doesn't know what will actually affect the economy, what will actually improve the economy.
Right.
You and I know what it is. It's the government getting out of the economy's way, getting out of the way of the free market and letting the free market do what it does, decreasing regulation, decreasing taxation. We know that's what will improve the economy, but she's not interested in that. She's interested in taking your money and putting it into pet programs like critical race theory. Obviously, she wants to take your money and defund the police. Then she also wants to use it to fund abortions. Let us not forget. Let's not forget sex changes for children too.
Hey, she has zero understanding of how the free market system, how capitalism works. She has zero understanding of it completely, Craig. If the response to the question is, what do we do about inflation? How can people deal with inflation? If your response is, well, just do things that cost less, then you just need to go home. You really do just need to go home.
Well, you made the analogy before we came on the program. You're like, in order to deal with inflation, you're like, well, you know what? I think I'm going to just take my truck out and get an abortion because, that'll help cut some costs.
It's been running high. It's been running. The fuel costs are a little high right now, so I'm going to take it down to the shop, get an abortion, and then maybe hope that'll make it run a little smoother. Yeah.
Maybe, because that, according to Stacey Abrams, is how you deal with the cost, with the increased cost of living in the United States. I'm dumbfounded.
Yeah.
I really am. And she actually thinks she has a shot at winning. You know, look, Stacey, you're just going to have to accept the fact that you are the president of Earth, and that is all you ever will be.
Yes. And for those who don't get that, they did that on one of the Star Trek TV shows here in the past year or so. And, you know, Craig, I'd hate to say she doesn't have a shot, but, you know, how many suitcases full of ballots did we watch go underneath the table after the voting precincts were closed?
Well,
Georgia,
she's right now, according to the polls, down by 10 points. So it's going to take a whole lot of suitcases of ballots for her to win this election. And whether she loses, well, let us clear. In her own mind, no matter what, she will win, right? Because she is an election denier. It was funny the other day when I was doing a piece on, you know, whether or not blacks are being barred from voting. People kept bringing up election deniers, and I said, "Oh, you mean like Stacey Abrams? Oh, you mean like Maxine Waters? You mean John Lewis, right? Or how about Hillary Clinton? Hillary Clinton, she's an election denier." And they're like, "Do you even know the definition of an election denier?" I'm like, well, apparently it's only Republicans who take any sort of issue or believe that there was any issues at all, or who ask about any issues relating to the 2020 election. If you ask about any issues relating to the 2020 election, you are an election denier.
That's right. And we definitely don't talk about erection flawed.
That's right. We do not talk about erection flawed here. The erection was not stolen.
That's right. Although Hillary is an erection denier.
She is. She was definitely. Just ask Bill. Oh, okay. All right. Well, let's talk about denial, right? There are many in New York who are basically have adopted the shall not comply, I shall not comply mentality when it comes to in particular, well, probably several of New York's gun laws, because I think there are many people who've never complied with their gun laws. Some of them because they're criminals, or they are of the criminal element, and some because they simply want to be able to protect themselves. Otherwise law-abiding citizens, but in this particular case, they're not, because they're like, look, I'm going to protect myself. And in this case, what we're talking about civil disobedience when it comes to church. One of the things that's included as a sensitive place in New York's gun laws is the church or the synagogue. And so there are many people who have decided, in particular, as entire ministries have decided that they are not going to abide by the New York's prohibition of firearms in places of worship. That's because if you look at a lot of, if you want to talk about hate crimes or anything like that, a lot of these facilities, a lot of these places are seen as targets. And the worst part is, Mike, is that by saying that you are not allowed to possess a firearm in a place of worship, they've actually placed a target on these places. Because where is it that potential mass shooters decide to go in order to have a soft target and get almost no resistance?
Yeah, places where there's the gun-free zone signs, right? Because that's where your victims are gathered. But it's great to see. It's great to see that there's a resistance going on. It's almost poetic that it is the Jewish community there that is saying this. Because Craig, if there's one community out there in our history, recent history, that can tell you what happens when you take firearms away from a people, it's the Jews. They understand that. Okay, we're taking the firearms from you for your own safety. Right? Or first we need your names so we know where they are. Now we're taking them from you. Now get on the trains. Go. The motto for Jews for Preservation of Firearms organization, I know, Craig, you and I are familiar with them, is never again. Never again. Never again. Mm-hmm. And these gentlemen here that we've just heard from, they have vowed never again. In fact, the one of them said, let them come arrest me. The law is illegal. That way we can go to court and get it overturned.
Well, one of the sayings that I love that our good friend Yehuda Reamer, the Pew Pew Jew, likes to say. He's like, look, armed citizens don't get in boxcars.
Yep, exactly
And
right.
that's
this is what's going on.
kind of the point.
I don't understand why more of our Jewish citizens here in this country, Jewish Americans in this country, don't stand up. How they don't realize that. I don't know if they have the disconnect. I mean, I know they're not like Holocaust deniers or anything like that, but I don't know. I don't understand how they have the disconnect between the cause, what allowed that to happen, and then today being all about gun control. There's
Right.
many in the community that
And
these two that you just heard from in the story are definitely in the minority.
Yes. And mind you, gun control was not the cause, but not being armed or not being allowed to be armed facilitated that to happen. Right.
Sure.
So I'm not sitting here
listen,
telling you,
it was
oh, well,
already-
because they pushed gun control, they were, that was then. No, my point is that had people had the individual right to keep and bear arms, it would have been a lot more resistance to individuals once again being put in, well, there'd been a lot more resistance to the Holocaust.
Yes. Yeah.
Just
Absolutely
saying.
right. Absolutely right. Yeah. That's listen, and how many times you got to read it in the manual, right? How do I take control of the citizenry and do whatever I want, including exterminating 6,000 to 8,000 of them? Well, number one, take their guns away. Then you can do whatever you want to them.
Yep.
You can make them
Ain't
dress
that
up
the
like
truth?
clowns for their lives.
Sad to say, but it is the truth.
Yep. Yep.
All right, moving right along to our parting shots. I love reading The Onion and the Babylon Bee. The sad part is that I never thought that I would see headlines in the mainstream media on MSNBC, on CNN, on Fox News, headlines that were as hysterical to me as anything I've seen, as unbelievable to me as anything that I've seen in The Onion or on the Babylon Bee. And that leads us to, I'm sorry?
Like Stacey Abrams with abortion.
Yes, Stacey, how abortion will reduce inflation. Exactly. So this is me watching the news literally every day now.
Craig, hold on. You're an old fat white guy?
Pretty much. Well, I'm conservative, therefore, because of my proximity to whiteness,
Right.
because I happen to, have been married for a long time and own my own business and own my own home. My proximity to whiteness has turned me into an old fat white man.
That's it. Now you know who it is? You know who that character is? Not the actor. You know what character is he playing there?
I don't remember the exact name, but that is from The Big Lebowski, right?
Yeah, I'll say it the same way he said it in the movie. Walter F. and Kopchak.
Oh, good stuff. I think now, Mike, I in the spirit of adopting, and once again, I do a lot of stuff with a lot of liberals in the media, and they're always gotta open up with their pronouns, and I think I found some pronouns that work for me. Finally, I will feel okay with announcing my pronouns, and as Maggie Simpson would say, I identify as naturally immune. My pronouns are they/lied.
Yep. You know who else might say it? Lisa Simpson, but
Oh, dang it. You are 100% right. That is Lisa. There
you go lying to me, Craig. There you go lying to the people. Yeah.
I know. You're right.
They all look the same to me, Craig. Don't worry about it.
They do. All the Simpsons look alike to me. Spiky headed.
Yellow freaks. It's crazy.
I see. You don't like them because they're yellow, right? You don't like people of color. That's what it is.
Is yellow really a color for people? I mean,
yeah, actually, yellow is a color.
I mean, it's not. There's not a skin color. I mean, maybe if you're.
It's not a real skin color, but it is the color that the Simpsons are.
Oh yes, yeah. Well, that's real for them. Sure, it is. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Even
people
Apu
of color
is. Yeah.
All right, Mike. How about another shout out to the sponsors?
let's say good day to our friends over at the Hitman Industries, hitmanindustries.net. Make sure you go there for all your AR rifle barrel needs, hitmanindustries.net. The California Republican Assembly, fighting a good fight behind the enemy lines. Make sure you reach out to them. Maybe you can touch them with your dollar bills. And then, of course, you want some awesome web gear, some awesome tactical gear. Like Craig and I said earlier, go to uscombatgear.com.
That's .com. .com.
Sorry. uscombatgear.com.
Yeah, please don't do the Biden no more. Don't do the what? Huh?
Tap TAPIOCA.com. Tapioca.com.
Folks, thank you so much for tuning in. We really appreciate that you are joining us. Do us a favor. Remember, like, share, subscribe. Like, share, subscribe. Talk to your friends. Tell them the rundown. This is the show to be watching day. That's every day for those of you who don't get it. We'll talk to you tomorrow on Freedback Friday.